Couple min late today Forto that I had to fix the TTS robot. Canooch is working appropriately. Getting SD tarted in a few min. Toss any links to cool stories into the Discord.
Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. How's everybody doing today? I am feeling good, but my computer is just being slow. You ever had one of those days where your computer just chugs slowly, clunk, a clunk, a clunk, and it just doesn't move very fast. That's kind of happening to me today. Hopefully, it won't interrupt or bother the stream. The YouTube stream says that it's an excellent connection at the moment, and Twitch says unstable as usual. But it is up and it's running, and it seems like it's doing fine. Lazy Saturday computer. Yeah, I know. It wants the day off on Saturdays, but it ain't going to get it. I think I know why, but it's one of the tabs I have open for one of the important stories today, so I can't really close it. But it's got a lot going on that web page, and I think I know what's going on there. So, yeah, lazy Saturday computer, being lazy, wants the day off, not going to get it, because Saturday is philosophy fun time. That's where we look at stuff and we check the news, and let's see if Thomas is here. Thomas is not in the debate channel at the moment, which means he's probably not going to be here today, but if he is, we'll bring him on. If not, that's okay. I've got headlines. We can look at them. We can feel them all out together. If you want to tell me what to talk about, you can. It's fun. It's exciting. You get to tell me what to do. Go to this Discord channel right here and leave a link in the general tab or something like that. I will see it. I will bring it up put it up on the screen. Then we can talk about it. We can have a good time. You can tell me what you think is important, and we'll feel it all out together. I'll get your feelings on it. You'll get mine. It'll be a great time. It'll be interactive. Everybody loves interactivity. It's very fun. It's the new fun thing. I'm not just here to read the news at you. I'm here to feel the news with you, you see. What is going on? So, yeah, today's Saturday. I got a couple of links open and interesting things to talk about. And then I think that'll be it today. I don't think we'll have any video games today, but because my computer's working kind of slow, maybe we will. Depends. If we run out of news to talk about, we can talk about that. We can do some video games. I did a dwarf stream yesterday. It was very fun. It was very cool in the morning. I got up early and then played a Lord of the Rings video game about dwarves and mining, and it was very fun. It was very exciting. I might do that again next Friday too. If you would like to join me on those Dwarf Fridays, is what I'm calling them. So very fun. And then Philosopher Saturday, Philosopher Saturday, something along those lines. I'll workshop the title. And so let's see. We've got that. If you're in chat on Kick or Twitch, you can do TTS, and the lovely Lady Canooch will read your words out for us. I have
Canooch
horribly typed out a whole bunch of things earlier today. It was awful, and my typing is bad, but if your typing is bad, she will read it anyway, and it's very fun. Very exciting. If you got a banger, if you got a good joke, if you got something to interrupt with, hop into chat on Twitch or Kick and do a TTS, and she will read it to us, and it'll be very fun. Other than that, let's get going. Let's talk about what is in the title today. Let's click over here, turn off the game capture, turn on the window capture, and we go right there. Bam. Judge delays Trump hush money sentencing until after the election. Not a surprise. Well, it's kind of a surprise. We didn't want him to do this. This is not. I don't think this is a good idea, but I recognize why he did it. We all kind of thought it would happen. Judge Merchan delays Trump's sentencing until November 26th. Trump's lawyers argue for more time due to potential appeal. That doesn't make any sense. We're going to appeal it, so you have to put it back. That doesn't make any sense. Prosecutors argue Trump's case involves personal contact and not official acts. New York judge on Friday delayed former President Trump's sentencing in his hush money criminal case until after the November 5th election, writing that he wants to avoid an unwarranted perception of political motive. Because Donald Trump lies a lot, often, he has suggested many times that this is just about politics. He didn't commit any crimes. This is just his haters coming after him. That's not true. It's because he broke the law. And then, because when Donald Trump breaks the law, It's political. Again, wealth and status gives you infinite rerolls. Exactly. He has money, he has power, he has authority. He gets to try again, reroll as many times as he likes until he gets the outcome that he wants. And that means getting a different judge, getting a different venue, getting a different jury, getting a different jury in a place that is more, that appreciates him more. Because Republicans, when they look at the law, aren't thinking about justice. No. They're not thinking about what is correct for society, what is just. They're interested in power. That's all they want. They want the authority and the power to do the things that they want to do. This isn't anything to do with justice. So let me Google the word justice real quick. But again, my computer's being real slow. Click on that new tab, and it takes a minute. Go to dictionary.com. Very slowly chugging. There's nothing else going on this morning. It's not like a work day or anything. And nobody in my house is up streaming a bunch of stuff. So, let's see right here. There we go. Justice, the quality of being just, rightness, equitableness, or moral rightness to uphold the justice of a cause, rightfulness or lawfulness as of a claim to or title, justness of ground or reason, the moral principle determining just conduct, conformity to the principle, as manifested in conduct, just conduct, dealing, or treatment. This is not what Republicans want. God, no. They are not interested at all in this. They don't want any of that. They want any part of that. Click the buttons. Okay. It's not about, it's about power, not justice. When they declare their love and admiration for Viktor Orban in Hungary, that's because he has authoritarian power, not because he obtained justice for his people. Nah. When they defend Trump and his obvious crimes that he commits on TV in front of us and then brags about them, they're not making decisions about what is just. They're making plays for power. They want Trump, and by extension themselves, to have the power to overturn elections if they feel like it. And they would base this power on nothing more than his word. Not because it's right, not because it's correct, but because they want power. In a capitalist society, money is power, which is why the Russians can buy people so easily. This is, I'm segueing slightly into that other issue that was in the news recently. Now I'm rambling about Tim Pool and all his friends, the right-wing grifters who took Russian money. They have no ethics, they have no guidelines, they have no principles. What they have is a will to power. Get more power is the plan. Say whatever's necessary to get more power. Take whatever money is offered to you to get more power. Follow the trending public emotions and bolster them if it gets you more power. That's what this is all about. Over here, no, let's see. Donald Trump gets more power by not being sentenced. He loses some power by being found guilty. And he needs to win the presidency so that he can have the power to make these things go away and push them off indefinitely. The federal cases will go away if Donald Trump wins. He will make them go away. He will he will put people in charge of the DOJ that will make it go away day one. Power. If he is elected, he will have the authority and the power to say that you can't try a sitting president, because they came up with that rule back in the 70s with Richard Nixon. And so that is the rule, and he will use that power of the presidency to make that happen. And then this will not happen. This will get pushed back by 4 years, and then nobody will take it. It'll get dropped and abandoned. Not because that's the right thing to do. They're not doing this because it is morally correct. They're doing it because they want the power to do it. They want to give Donald Trump power to overthrow the things, to override the system and rules that they are placed under, and they don't because they don't like being placed under rules where they're not in charge. Republicans again and again and again think that they are the rules, they are the law, they are American. And if you push back against them, if you say, hey, you're not allowed to do that thing that you want to do, you're being anti-American, you're being anti-Constitution, even though that doesn't make any sense. According to Donald Trump, if Donald Trump does it, it's legal. That's the only law he has. That's the only guideline, the only ethic he has. If Donald Trump does it, it's allowed. He's a king. He thinks that he is a king. He thinks that the president is a king, and he thinks that because he's an idiot. He doesn't know what the actual system of government is. He doesn't comprehend the idea of checks and balances. He doesn't know where the power comes from. He doesn't know what ruled by a democracy of the consenting voters. He can't comprehend that idea. He doesn't know what democracy actually is. He thinks we just pick a popular king and then the king does whatever he wants for 4 years. That is how he thinks it actually operates. And that's sad because it's not how it operates. It's not how it works. There are rules. There are laws in place. And we usually have laws in place. We usually have people maintaining those laws. But not anymore because Donald Trump put the people in charge of the Supreme Court. He put those people in the Supreme Court so that they would give him what he wants. Not because they would follow the law, not because they would hold society together and make sure that there's justice. No. He put the people on the Supreme Court for his own power. And the power of the people that agree with him. The people on the right agree with him, and they want that power, and they want that authority. They need to be in charge. They're tired of all these people they disagree with getting what they want. They have to get what they want, or else it's illegal. Let's see. Speaking of random ranting word salads, Donald Trump held a press event where he... Come on, computer. Good God, my thing is chugging today. Wow, it's slow. Move, you damn thing. Move, you damn thing. I clicked on it. And now we wait and we wait and we wait and we wait. Come on, man. It's just a tab. I closed one tab. And I clicked on another. Wow. That's how long it takes for me to do anything on this damn computer today. All right, let's make everything worse. Okay. Trump holds press event to attack women who've accused him of sexual assault. So, the GOP presidential nominee weirdly claimed E. Jean Carroll loves Law and Order and copied one of the TV show episodes to lie about him assaulting her. He's defaming her again. She won a court case for $5 million in which he defamed her, said a lot of untrue things about her, and here he is doing it again because he doesn't understand. He doesn't comprehend how defamation works. He doesn't know what that word means. He doesn't know why the law is upset with him. He doesn't know why we're unhappy with him defaming her. They're playing life on easy mode when the rules don't swing in their favor. They can cry foul. Exactly. He doesn't comprehend any of these things. Let's see. Former President Donald Trump held a press conference on Friday that was supposed to be about him appealing a $5 million verdict that found him liable for sexually abusing advice columnist E. Jean Carroll in the 1990s. Instead, for 45 minutes, Trump stood in front of a microphone ranting about Carroll and another woman who accused him of sexual assault and then left without taking any questions. He just rambles nonsense for 45 minutes. I never touched her. Trump said of Carroll during the New York City event, I would have had no interest in meeting her. She made up the story, fabricated 100% that I attacked her. Her favorite show is Law and Order. There is an almost exact story of her story in Law and Order about being attacked in the dressing room of a department store. That's her favorite show, Law and Order. She said that. How does he know that? Man, how does he know what her favorite show is? He said he's never met her. He said he's never seen her. He said he's never spent any time with her, but he knows her favorite TV show. Or he's lying and making things up, which is what I always claim, that he is lying and making things up. He doesn't know anything. He creates a delusion. He misunderstand, delusion, fear, MDF. He misunderstands why he's in trouble. He doesn't understand defamation or why he can and can't say certain things to the public. He creates a delusion about her favorite TV show being Law and Order. How is that possibly? How could he even know that? He doesn't know her, according to him, but he knows her favorite show. So he has created a delusion, and he uses that delusion to spread his fear message. They're coming after me. They're coming after your favorite president is going to go to jail and lose a bunch of money because of a made-up story. Her favorite show is Law and Order. How does he know these things? He misunderstands, he creates a delusion, and then he spreads fear. That is his operation. That is his always, every single time. Carol Ann Setzinger, it's a farce. You all know it. Stop persecuting the man, you evil people. Carol Ann, it's been proven true in a court of law where evidence matters. He can say whatever he wants in front of a camera, in front of the microphone, and to the microphone, and he does often say lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of untrue things. But in a court, you have to bring evidence. They have found that he was criminally liable for defaming her, and he's doing it again. If he didn't do it, then why does he keep defaming her? He's defaming her today. I mean, he did it on, well, that was Friday. That was yesterday. But that is his entire operation. Misunderstand a thing, create a delusion, spread fear. And you, Carol Ann, have bought into that fear. You're afraid that he's been persecuted. You're afraid that the things that he says are true. They're not. He spread that fear to you from a delusion within his own head that he got from misunderstanding very simple things about the world. And that makes you deranged. He's deranged, and his followers have a syndrome where they accept that derangement. I think this entire TDS thing is turned up on its head. Trump is deranged, and his followers have the syndrome where they believe that the deranged things that he says are true. They're not. They never have been. He is a frequent and obvious liar. And it's not about ethics or anything like that. It's about power. As I said a minute ago, he wants more power. He wants the authority and the power to make this trial go away. He wants the power and authority to override elections. He wants the power and authority to take away the votes that he doesn't like. He wants the power and authority to kick out the people from the country that he doesn't like. Why do people defend him so hard? You'll never meet him, nor will he give two shits about their existence. Yeah, I know. Why do they defend him so hard? Because they're based on feelings. As always, belief is a very powerful feeling. Belief is a feeling. It's not on the periodic table of elements, right? Belief is the problem. Belief is a feeling. And if they have a belief that Donald Trump is great and awesome and wonderful, you push back against that belief. You are insulting them. You are harming them. You are scaring away. You are doing something bad to an American. You can't tell Americans that their beliefs are wrong. It's wrong. You're not allowed to do that. They might kill you if you suggest to an American that their belief is incorrect. But it is entirely possible to have a belief that is wrong. But they've been told their entire lives as Americans that belief is the most important thing. There is nothing more important than your beliefs. In America, that is the most important thing. In America, nothing is more important than your beliefs. And that is the wrong way to live. It is the wrong way to organize your thoughts. Thoughts have to be organized. You have to put things correctly in your head, or else you're all disorganized and rambling incoherently. Hey, you know who rambles incoherently? Donald Trump. I would, at this moment, like to read a quote. Mr. Donald Trump was asked, do I have anything to put on screen? No. He was asked Donald Trump was asked about child care and how important it is, and what he's going to do with the the substantially increased cost of child care in the country. This is a big problem for the American people. They would like someone to do something about it. Maybe the president could do something about it, perhaps. So they asked him, what are you going to do about the large amount, the high prices of child care? And I would like to read his quote. And right now, I won't do it in his voice. I'll do it in mine, because it's a rambling insanity nonsense. He should be put into a health care facility for the answer that he just gave. So here we go. Quote from Donald Trump. Well, I would do that. And we're sitting down, and I was, somebody. We had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter, Ivanka, was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue. But I think when you talk about that kind of numbers that I'm talking about, because, look, childcare is. Couldn't you know there's something you have to have it in this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And I'm not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product to our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers. And we're talking about including childcare, and it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time, coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all the other things that are going on in our country, because I have to stay with childcare. I want to stay with childcare, but those numbers are small relative to the kind of economic numbers that I'm talking about, including growth, but growth also headed up by what the plan is that I just told you about. We're going to be taking in trillions of dollars, as much as childcare is talked about as being expensive. It's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kind of numbers we'll be taking in. We're going to make this into an incredible country that can afford to take care of its people, and then we'll worry about the rest of the world. Let's help each other, but we're going to take care of our country first. This is all about America first. It's about Make America Great Again, and we have to do it because right now we're a failing nation, so we'll take care of it. Thank you. Very good question. Thank you. That was insanity. That was some Cthulhu-level word salad. Are you having a seizure? Yeah. No. I'm reading quotes from Donald Trump. That's what I'm doing. Thanks for jumping in, KVP. Thanks for checking on my mental health. It is harmed by him, yes. Because that question was about childcare and the large amount of costs. He has set phrases that he says, just insert how. Yeah, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to say, oh, okay, they're worried about the cost of this. How do I turn that into one of my preferred talking points? Because childcare is a side effect of our economy, of our capitalism. J.D. Vance has suggested that your grandparents and uncles and aunts should all just take care of your kids. J.D. Vance, my man, they also have to have full-time jobs because of our economy. So there is no one to take care of the kids, which means that you have to pay for someone to take care of your kids. If we restructured some of these things, we can actually get conservative, right-wing ideas passed. Instead of paying people to take care of your kids, how about we just pay housewives? I mean, this is what they're doing anyway, right? That would be a pro-family move that J.D. Vance is absolutely against because it's too close to UBI. So what you have to do, according to J.D. Vance, according to Donald Trump in his word salad, but it's not on topic, insert word and rambling, stable genius. Yeah, I know. If I read his quote and KBP thought I was having a seizure, okay? But he gets to just do that anytime he wants. Republicans, get rid of this guy. You are a laughingstock. I am laughing at you and your clown candidate because he is a clown. You know it and I know it. Get rid of him. Abandon him. Jettison him from your party. He is bad for you. He is bad for us. He is bad for America. And he makes me think that you have a derangement syndrome. Not to mention some family I wouldn't trust with my kids. Yeah, exactly. So back to the economy and the stuff like that. Capitalism demands more money. It always does. It demands more and 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 more. And it will never, 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 never stop. It will never stop. More is the capitalist way. which means you need more money. You need more money for your house. You need more money for your electricity. You need more money for your internet. You need more money for your Netflix. You need more money for your food. You need more money for your gas. You need more money for everything so that those companies can make more money because their stock has to go up. If their stock doesn't go up, then they've failed as a company. They lose their CEOs. Everybody gets unhappy, and then the economy crashes and we have a downturn. Nobody wants that. So everything has to go up. This is a flaw within capitalism. And if everything has to go up, that means everything costs more. That means you can't have a single parent with one job working 40, maybe even 60 hours a week to pay for an entire life of their spouse and their kids and their house and their mortgage and all those expensive things I just talked about. Can't be done. Which means that the second parent has to go to work also. You need 2 jobs, maybe even 3, and a side hustle so that you can pull off enough money to live. Now, what that does is it leaves the kids alone. Those kids now either are raised by the TV or grandma and grandpa in J.D. Vance's solution, but grandma and grandpa also need two jobs and a side hustle to function within our current economic situation. So, J.D. Vance, listen. UBI for housewives. For the person within the family that's determined to stay home and take care of the kids. I think this is a great idea. He could win so many people with that. And while it is a conservative idea, I think it would move people to the left on this idea of UBI. Andrew Yang, very important guy. We all know him. Make America Think Harder math, great. Pushed the UBI as his main talking point. And there's a billion arguments online about whether or not a UBI works, whether or not it could work, whether it's economically feasible, all those fun things, and all the problems with it. And then the easiest complaint about it is whatever the UBI is, that's how much your rent is. And so you won't have any money left anyway. But even that would be acceptable. I mean, that's free rent. Put those childless cat ladies to work, taking care of the children they don't want. Yeah. But again, why don't we just skip the middleman? According to J.D. Vance's worldview, according to capitalism, which he lies about pretty often and underplays the flaws and hides the flaws and touts the successes, that family that has 2 parents and 2 kids has three jobs between them. Each parent has a job, and then they've got like a side hustle. That means that they don't have time to take care of the kids. If we paid the stay-at-home parent a living wage, a small amount of money, they would stop that job. Then they would stay home with those kids. But no, we can't do that. What J.D. Vance wants is for you to have 2 jobs and a side hustle and give that money. You have the 2 jobs, you have the side hustle so that you can have money. Then you give a portion of that money to someone to take care of your kids. Why don't we just skip the middleman? Skip the daycare part. Skip the childcare part. Pay the person to stay home. And then guess what they'll do? It'll be more like a trad marriage, which J.D. Vance is all about. He loves that whole trad life. He wants white picket fences, man to go to work at 8 a.m., come home at 5, dinner on the table, wife's been taking care of the kids all day. That's what he wants. And he can have that with just a little bit of socialism. Just a little bit, just a little drop of social welfare. He can have it. But capitalism, I know, he doesn't actually want the trad life. He wants the trad life, but he can't get it with capitalism. Capitalism will not lead you to the 1950s. It won't. It never will. It cannot do such a thing. The only reason the 1950s were so nice is because of the advantages we had post World War II. The numbers have to go up, exactly. The numbers were going up back in the 1950s because nobody else in the world had factories. Anything in Europe and Asia during World War II that looked like a factory got bombed, which means America made everything. We produced everything, and because there was such a high demand, they could pay the workers. That we had all these, and we had a severe downturn of people because of all of them that died during the war. So all the people all the GIs that didn't come home, made the labor pool smaller, and then capitalism drove them out of the U.S. Yeah, I know. That's how capitalism will always function. So during World War II, all the factories got bombed. Anything that looked like a factory got destroyed. Then America is the only place that didn't get bombed. So they have the factories. The GIs all come home. They all need jobs. And there's more jobs. There's more work than people, which means that you get to pay them a lot, which means that they got to live on one paycheck. The man went to work at 8, came home at 5, and the wife didn't have to go to work to earn enough money to own a house. This is all good. This is all fine. It's not sustainable. It is not something that will ever come back. MAGA wants to make America great again. Usually when they're talking about that, they're talking about driving things backward, bringing the things back to that 1950s, that fictional Leave It to Beaver life. It cannot come back. It will never come back. Stop trying to force it. Look forward. Look to the future. Find out what problems we have today and what we can do about them tomorrow, not what problems we have today and how much better it was back in the past. That's wrong. You cannot go backward, but some of us can go forward. Let's see. What else we got? Donald Trump's secret plan to eliminate the government. If you do the math on the GOP tax plans, it doesn't add up to anything good. So let's read this one. Donald Trump gave a speech Thursday at the Economics Club of New York in which he said about Kamala Harris, she wants 4 more years to enforce a radical left agenda that poses a fundamental threat to the prosperity of every American family and America itself. I'm here today to lay out my plan to rescue our country from this nightmare and bring back to the citizens the American dream, bigger, better, and stronger. Written before about how Trump's campaign and even the Republican platform, which Trump and his team wrote, have been skimpy on the details. Okay, they kind of have, and that's not a surprise. They're always kind of skimpy on the details. But Trump's speech wasn't much help. Newspaper stories about the speech groped for a headline. One spotlighted Trump's promise to put Elon Musk, who's given me his complete and total endorsement, which is nice, in charge of the Commission on Government Efficiency. Another announced that Trump would somehow ban mortgages for illegal immigrants. So you have to check your immigration status before you're allowed to get a mortgage. That sounds like a regulation, you guys. I thought Donald Trump hated regulations. And if that cost a mortgage company money, they would be absolutely against it. I mean, if you can think, how many illegal people are paying a mortgage? I'm not entirely sure. I would be interested in that number. I suspect that it's low. I suspect that most of them, being poor, pay rent rather than a mortgage. But if you push that first bit, illegal to give an illegal immigrant a mortgage, that will trickle down to the rent. It will. They will be illegal to rent to someone who is not got the correct immigration status, leading to massive homelessness, which will make it easier for J.D. Vance to scoop up with his fascist trains and his idea of rounding everyone up. They'll just be the people outside. And if they scoop up a few American homeless, they'll be fine with that. Put them all in the concentration camps, according to J.D. Vance, and then get rid of them. It'll be fine. My 2.5 kids and white picket fence is renting to keep a roof over my head and a cat and a small dog. Yeah. I think that would be step one. I worry that they would go say, hey, yeah, you're not allowed to have a mortgage if you're an illegal immigrant. And that would pass, maybe, because it's so few people, I suspect, that the companies, the mortgage companies, the giant trillion-dollar agencies that run mortgages wouldn't lose that much, I suspect. But if it comes down to rent, holy shit, that's 11 to 15 million people who are now not allowed to pay rent. What are they going to do? Well, they're going to get kicked out. and then they're going to live on the street, and it'll be a massive nightmare. The companies will kick them out because they can't let them stay there if they're not paying. And then those companies will lose money, and then those companies their stock will go down. And then that'll cause a giant chain reaction freak out of everybody in the world, and they'll blame the people on the street. J.D. Vance and Donald Trump will look into the camera and say, this economic downturn caused by illegals. That's what they'll do. And they'll blame them for the law that they passed. Donald Trump passes a law that harms them and harms the companies. And then those people are harmed. And then he'll blame them. It's their fault. They did this. Well, okay. What else we got? Mostly Trump attacked Harris and President Joe Biden and recited various accomplishments. Most of them imaginary. See, this guy gets it too. Most of his accomplishments are imaginary. Misunderstand, create illusion, spread fear. MDF. This guy gets it too. From the previous term, speaking to his usual stream of consciousness way, the time at a quieter sing-song timbre he reserves for solemn occasions. Trump reviewed a little history, repeating his previous crackpot praise for William McKinley, and at one point he conflated Theodore and Franklin Roosevelt. It wasn't really an economic speech, it was a Trump speech. This is more of his rambling insanity from a couple of days ago with the stroke that I had earlier reading his speech. This is the same event. The best guide to Trump's economic plan, such as it is still Project 2025. Trump has attempted to disavow it, but 140 members of his administration helped assemble it. This is why he can't run away from it. This is why I'm going to keep pushing it. I have gotten messages in YouTube chats about how it's not his plan. Stop trying to tie him to it. 140 members of his administration created it. 6 former cabinet secretaries, as well as Reince Priebus, helped make it. Trump's first chief of staff mandate chapter on tax policy was co-written by Stephen Moore, whom Trump nominated unsuccessfully to the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors. People around Trump wrote Project 2025. That is why it's valid to look at it and determine what they're going to do with the future. Moore advised Trump's 2016 campaign is now advising his 2024 campaign. So the people working on his campaign also wrote Project 2025. He can try and dodge it. He can try and avoid responsibility for it. But this is part of his plan. The Project 2025 document calls for collapsing the income tax's 7 brackets into 2. 15% and 30%. The second of these kicking in at about $167,000. That would raise taxes on the hot bourgeois, earning roughly $95,000 to $182,000. Currently, these people pay a top marginal rate of 24%, but they're mostly Democrats, so to hell with them. More to the point, it would lower taxes on the rich who vote Republican. Right, 30% sounds like a lot, but it's lower than what they've got now. This kind of theme, the corporate rate would fall to 18% as President Trump cut the top corporate tax rate from 35% to 20%. Harris proposes to raise it to 28%. Trump confirmed his support for further lowering corporate tax rates in Thursday's speech, but said that he'd reserve the reduced rate solely for companies that make products in America. So he's got something that he's saying there. Come back to America and I'll lower your taxes even more. On Harris's America, they will kick citizens out and give your house to immigrants. No, I don't want to elaborate this. Nor will I tell you where they got this information. Yeah, exactly. Kamala's going to kick you out of your house and give it to an illegal immigrant because they're replacing you. They are replacing you. Don't ask who they is. I'm not allowed to talk about it on social media, on YouTube anymore. It's nonsense. It's always been nonsense. Let's keep reading. This is an economics argument, and these are economists that are talking about it. I know that the economy isn't real, but we're going to listen to these people talk about it. Trump said that he wanted to cut the capital gains rate from 20% to 15%, and that's what Project 2025 calls for. Until this week, Harris favored raising the capital gains rate to 39.6% for high earners. But this week, she revised her plan. Now she proposes only going as high as 28%. So she's walked it back. She's come further to the center. She was she was campaigning as a leftist, and now she's got to go towards the center to win the general election. That's not a surprise. All Democrats do that. I wish they would stick to the left, but whatever. Okay, so here's the actual things that would probably happen, according to this economist. Trump has pledged and repeated that pledge Thursday to extend all of his 2017 tax cuts, which are due to expire in 2026. That would cost $4.6 trillion over the next decade. So we would lose $4.6 trillion if we allow him to win. Lowering the corporate tax rate to 15% would cost another $874 billion over the same period. Trump said on Truth Social on July that senior citizens wouldn't pay taxes on Social Security. That's another $1.8 trillion lost. I think I might be okay with this one. I mean, if the government's giving you money, you shouldn't pay taxes on that money that they gave you to the government. It doesn't make any sense. I don't see why we do that. Because it's not like you're I mean, the government gives you money that you give the government money after you work for a lifetime. Then the government gives it back to you. And they take some of it back through taxes. It's a silly system. I might be on board with this one. In June, Trump said that he would eliminate taxes on tips and repeated this promise on Thursday. That's another $250 billion lost. I think Kamala has also come up with this plan where she has gotten rid of the taxes on tips, but has a cap for high-performing people who are going to break the rules and change the law and change create a loophole. She has suggested this as well and removed a loophole. It might still cost us $250 billion. It might lower the amount of tax money coming into the government by $250 billion. It might. But that's from poor people, and I'm okay with that. As vice president candidate, Vance has proposed increasing the child tax credit from $2,000 per child to $5,000 per child. Trump got asked about that Thursday, and his reply was, "If I'm being charitable, incoherent. At any rate, it's another $3 trillion." So yeah, everybody's seeing his insanity. What does the back of the napkin math look like? 10% tariff, essentially a flat national sales tax, would raise $2.8 trillion over 10 years, but it would cost us 10.5. Trump would pile another 10.5 trillion onto the deficit, which is what Trump and most Republican presidents did with tax cuts in the past. This is what they always do. They cry foul, they scream bloody murder about all the money we're losing, and then they make us lose more money. And nobody cares because economics is a mess. It is incredibly complicated, difficult to understand. Most of it isn't real. Most of it's run by liars. And even the stuff that I just read, I doubt. Because I think anybody who is an economist will lie to you to make more money. Right? If saying X makes you more money, then you'll say X. Especially if you're an economist. If you're a live streamer, I could see where saying something would make you more money, and we would know. We would notice. If War Thunder or Raid Shadow Legends offer me a bunch of money, I would say nice things, maybe, about War Thunder and Raid Shadow Legends. No one's offering me money, so I don't do it. And I probably wouldn't anyway, because I don't really need it. But what I need is people to watch the damn videos. It's a different thing. But economists are mostly in charge of the economy, and they want to make more money because they love it. It's like asking a religious person what they think about Jesus. You can't trust them. It's like asking a priest what they think about the church. You can't trust them. Like shilling for Russia. Yeah. When somebody shills for Russia, it's to get more power, get more money, so that they can have more power and more money. And that's a difficulty. Because we live in a capitalist society, the most important thing is capital. And you get more capital for saying the things that people tell you to say. But I'm an anti-capitalist, so I probably wouldn't take that capital in an attempt to say nice things about capitalism. I wouldn't do that. But that's just me. And no one's ever offered, so I assume that I wouldn't, but I'll let you know if I do. We'll have a Waldo sellout stream, and I'll shill for Raid Shadow Legends and Russia. So watch for that heel turn from me. I'll start to praising the church and talking about how great it is and how you should go, and I'll push traditional Catholicism. It'll be a whole thing. So if that ever happens, it's because the money was good. Okay? I'm letting you know now, ahead of time. it seems unlikely that I will be, HelloFresh. Yeah, I'll push HelloFresh. I'll push purple mattresses. I'll have a whole commercial about Raid Shadow Legends. And what's that other one? The one about hiring that's on all the podcasts. I forget which company it is. You need this to hire the exactly the right people. We put the right applications in front of your face. No. Okay. So, yeah, the economy is a scam, and I recognize that it's a scam, so I don't want to get involved with it any more than I have to. If I got lots of money, ZipRecruiter, there's the Shincinto knows what's up. ZipRecruiter, yeah, ZipRecruiter. Find the right candidate for your job today at ZipRecruiter. If I start pushing HelloFresh, ZipRecruiter, and stuff, it would require me to be a member of the economy. I don't want to be. I try to avoid that as much as I can. Do you have a minute to talk about Indeed? Yes, exactly. Podcast, yeah. Yeah, Shinzindo hears them. Yeah, he knows. But because I don't want to be a part of the economy, I don't want to be a part of the stock market, I don't want to be a part of this broken capitalist system, I would avoid them. Probably. Or if I did, I would do maybe a smart-ass, not really good version of their commercials. But I don't know about that either, because then they just yell at you for that and then not pay you and say that you were breach a contract. I don't want contracts, man. I want fewer contracts. I want fewer connections to this economy. I really do. I want fewer capitalist intrusions in my life. And taking ZipRecruiter's ad dollars would increase the amount of capitalist intrusions I have in my life. Shilling for Russia would require me to open a second bank account or something and then move things around and then get a Cayman's line. Ugh, gross. I would hate doing all of those. I would hate all of that effort that I had to put in. Even if the money's good, I would have to do that. Blech. Or hire an accountant who's just going to steal from me because I'm not paying attention to him. So I'm trying to keep it simple because I'm stupid. Let's see. And the more complicated, and now that I'm having this thought, the more complicated the scheme, the more likely it is to be illegal. The Russia stuff, paying the shills and the people on the right, is a complicated scheme. You have to create fake people. You have to create shell corporations. You have to send only the right amounts of money. You have to make sure they don't ask too many questions. You have to create a fake person named Kalishnikov. You have to get the money through 7 different steps so that you can hide your tracks. It's way too much work. It's way too much effort. I don't think money is worth that much. My free time in my life is worth more than money. I mean, you could take money under an LLC, do your shilling, and then pay the victim. Boom, capitalism. Yeah, I know. That's a complicated scheme. And the more complicated it is, the more likely it is to be dishonest and illegal. I'm running what is very straightforward operation right now. Click the like button so that I go up in the algorithm. And then if somebody wants to subscribe to me, they do, and that gives me a couple of dollars. That's it. That's very simple. I'm not creating an LLC. I'm not running some sort of scheme. I'm not creating a tier structure. That's bad. That's overly capitalism. I'm not taking any ad dollars. There are ads probably during the shows, but that's unavoidable. Because that's how the platforms function. They only exist because they are businesses that are running for profit. While we're thinking about it, look at this. Treasury recovers $1.3 billion in unpaid taxes from high wealth tax dodgers. Scoot this over so everybody can see it. Because this is what happens. Republicans spend like crazy and cut taxes, which puts us in a hole. And then a Democrat has to come in afterward and start charging the people appropriately. This is what happened. It's what always happens. George H.W. Bush did it. He cut taxes. No new, read my lips. No new taxes, he said. And then he started a war for no good reason. And then he had to raise taxes. But he still cut it for the rich. He cut taxes for the rich because they wanted him to, because they elected him to do exactly that. Then what do we have? We had that makes the economy shit. And then we have a Democrat who comes in afterward, starts charging people again. Bill Clinton raised taxes, ran a surplus, and got money into the government. That surplus is then spent by a Republican, George W. Bush, who cuts taxes, and then we go down into the shitter again. We go down into the negative numbers. Our deficit gets bigger. And then what you have to do after that is have a Democrat come in and say, okay, you have to pay your taxes now, which is what Obama did. He raised taxes. They screamed bloody murder about President Blackenstein raising corporate taxes. But then we had more money. And he put, it was a mess with him because George W. Bush had a separate checkbook for the Iraq War. And Obama took that checkbook and put it in with a regular checkbook and found out that we were way off. But dishonest Republicans will tell you that he spent that money. He didn't spend that money. He just wrote it down in the right place. Then we have, after Obama, we have Donald Trump, who, again, cuts taxes for the rich and makes us shitty again. And then we have Joe Biden, who raises taxes sometimes. He didn't do it too much, but he raised somewhat. And Kamala's promising to do it more to get us out of the hole. Republicans dig holes. Democrats fill them in. That's how it goes. And I would ask, hey, can we stop electing Republicans to dig the hole deeper? Please? 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 Can we stop electing Republicans to dig the hole deeper? It would be nice. Maybe we could get ahead. This is what happens when you elect Democrats. Wealthy people pay their taxes. Does that sound good to you? Does that sound nice? People with money pay for the things that are in the government that they benefit from. Doesn't that sound great? Sounds good to me. But it's a difficult thing to sell to the American public because they hear taxes and they hate it. Let's look at what else we got. We got J.D. Vance. Come on, computer. There you are. J.D. Vance says absolutely raids on and sweeps to conduct mass deportations. So he wants to deport lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people. Why is this shaped funny? Weird. This one window is shaped differently than the other ones. True, Shinzito is a temporarily inconvenienced billionaire. I don't want my future taxes to go up. Exactly. And that is how they trick you. You're going to be rich someday, obviously. And because you're going to be rich someday, you don't want taxes to be high when you make it that far. So you have to pay more taxes now. So poor people have to pay more now so that someday when they're rich, they don't have to. That doesn't make any sense. Temporarily embarrassed millionaires without enough money. Yes, exactly. J.D. Vance absolutely wants to raid and conduct sweeps for mass deportations. Let's see. This is about the shooting. When is it going to talk about? Okay. Once you secure the border, you stop the bleeding, stop the inflow of illegal aliens, and you're going to have to figure out what to do with the people here. I think where you focus is you start with the most violent criminals, the people who haven't just broken our border laws, but have also committed violent crimes. On top of that, absolutely go after these people however you can, because we don't want violent felons stalking our communities. Boss, listen. The police already work on violent crimes. We already have that taken care of. Republicans misunderstand how illegal immigration works, and they create a delusion that there are millions of deranged monster criminals just rolling around the streets, immune to all laws, immune to all society, who are just going to steal anything that they can get their hands on and harm everybody they can. When someone breaks into your house, you're supposed to call the police and the police show up. Usually that happens. Now, there are issues with the cops and stuff like that, but that's what generally happens. Most of the crime is going down. The crime rates are dropping at the moment. But he needs you, J.D. Vance needs you to be afraid of random, terrifying brown people who are immune to the law because they are here illegally. Because they're here illegally, It means that they cannot be held responsible. The cops can't stop them. The cops can't shoot them. They're immune to pepper spray and bullets because they are here illegally, you see. And if they're here illegally, they can just do whatever they want to you and your friends and your family. And they can just steal everything that you own, and nothing can stop them. They are unstoppable juggernauts who cannot be harmed by the police. The police can still stop them, man. That's their job. That's how they're supposed to operate. He is selling you a fiction. And he's selling you a fiction so that he can convince lots and lots of stupid people about a fictional plan that he also has that he doesn't understand to deport all these people. Deporting people sounds like action. It sounds good to the stupid right-wing conservative. It does. It sounds fantastic to them. But it's a stupid fictional plan. But he talks about that stupid fictional plan so that they will vote for him. He needs the stupid conservatives to vote for him. And he can only get that if he promises to send 12 million actual people and 8 million imaginary people somewhere else. So as a citizen giving their child an AR and then used to kill and maim their classmates is a border problem. Yeah, exactly. He pivots. This was a question. You're right. It was about the school shooting, which he will do nothing about. Zero. J.D. Vance does not have any plans to prevent those shootings. He actually called it a way of life. It's just a part of American life. Is that quote in here too? I don't think it's here, but he did mention something the day before about how it was just part of American life. Yeah, this is just mostly about him. Yeah, no. This is just a regular stump speech from him. You ask him about, hey, what are we going to do about all these children getting guns and shooting other children? Well, he's going to dodge it and blame brown people south of the border because they don't have any plans. They don't have any ethics. They don't have any principles. They have blame. Blame, blame, blame. Blame the immigrants. It's the immigrants' fault that prices are so high. It's the immigrants' fault that the government is run a deficit. It's the immigrants' fault that kids are shooting each other up in school. It's the immigrants' fault that you lost that promotion. It's the immigrants' fault that you can't get a job. It's the immigrants' fault that you are tired when you wake up in the morning. It's the immigrants' fault that you can't fall asleep at night. It's the immigrants' fault that your pee-pee doesn't work quite as well as it used to when you were young. It's the immigrants' fault that your wife left you. It's the immigrants' fault that your kids don't want to talk to you. It's the immigrants' fault that you don't have as much money as you'd like. It's the immigrants' fault that your life hasn't turned out the way you wanted it to. Boys will be boys, right? Unless I can blame it on the LGBT or an immigrant. Yeah, exactly. Blame is what the Republicans have, and they're not doing it because they think it's correct. They're doing it so that they can convince the stupidest among us to vote for them. They need the votes in the system that we have right now. For now, you actually do need the votes. Donald Trump will fix that. He has promised to fix that system if he gets elected again, and so that you won't have to vote anymore. So for the moment, as it stands right now, they need the stupidest among us to vote for them. So what they do is they promise stupid plans for stupid people. If you think 20 million illegal immigrants are here, first of all, you're wrong. That's an incorrect number. You're stupid. And if you think deporting them will be a good idea, you're also stupid. It's a dumb plan for dumb people and shouldn't be taken seriously by anybody with a brain. Really shouldn't. How would you even operate it? Logistically speaking, walk me through the plan, J.D. Vance. Logistically speaking, he mentioned starting with the most violent right here. Are there violent people? His suggestion, J.D. Vance, is for stupid people. But we're not stupid. We're smart. We can walk our way through it and try and figure out the logistics of it. As soon as the motorcycles leave my street. He's suggesting, stupidly, that we go after the violent illegal immigrants first. The cops already do that. Like, is there a whole string of violent people running up and down the street, breaking things and destroying things that the cops aren't looking into? They get promoted off that shit. If you find somebody who was breaking the law, they're incentivized to do that, to keep peace. It's kind of their thing. So we found all the horrible nightmare monster illegal people who are committing crimes. Well, the cops already do that, but let's say that we found them and we put them in jail. Or, I mean, the jail industrial complex within our country doesn't want them to go to another country. They want them here so they can keep getting tax dollars. But you've convinced them and you've passed a law to ship them somewhere else. Okay, great. Now, there's probably about 11 to 12 million. That's the actual number, not 20, not 25, not 30, that they keep. The number gets higher every time Donald Trump talks because he has to escalate that rhetoric. So we're talking about 12 million people, give or take, who are here illegally. They pay rent. They do. They have kids who are Americans. I know Thomas yells at me about this, and he very much hates that whole birthright American citizenship thing. But I think it's good and right and proper. Was it invented for African slaves? Yes. Is it still benefiting us today? Yes. Which is why I'm still on board for it. But you came here illegally. You overstayed your visa. You flew on a plane. You got a job that, or you even if you used a fake Social Security number to get that job. That's a crime, yes. I want you to pay for that. But I don't want you to be rounded up, pulled out of your home, your kids abandoned maybe, and thrown onto a train and then taken to a concentration camp. I don't want that. J.D. Vance does, maybe. Or he just knows it's a stupid plan for stupid people that he's never going to work with. What happens if the countries tell us to fuck off with the deportation? Well, we'll get to that. So let's keep going. We found all of the horrible, terrible, violent ones. I think we already have. But now we're on to the people who have overstayed their visas, the people who have come across the border and now are working with a fake Social Security number. That human is going to be tracked and followed by the immigration Gestapo that J.D. Vance would put in place. And then they would be, arrested, I assume, at their home. You don't arrest people when they're out and about. You don't know where they are. You show up at their home. You knock on the door very loudly, bang, bang, bang. Cops, open up. Then you take out that adult, I assume, and any children who were not born in this country. But what do you do with the ones that are? What do you do with those horrible nightmare monster anchor babies? Do you just abandon them? Do you leave them in a home alone? What if there's no parents? What if you've got two illegal people and one American citizen child? What do? You leave them there? You have to create some sort of accountability system. You're tearing the family apart, first of all, which we don't usually like, and J.D. Vance should be thoroughly against. But he doesn't think these things through. And thinking the Republican thoughts through make you not want to support them. It really does. That's why I'm doing this. It's a dumbass idea for dumbass people. So we put those two now illegal people on a train to a concentration camp where they will... And concentration camp is the right word. They will be put there based on their status as a human being. They will be hopefully somewhat fed and put in some sort of detainment facility. And then they will have their case brought before some sort of judge who's going to say, okay, you came here illegally, you're being sent off. What do we do with that child? The child has to go into some sort of state care, right? Unless we just abandon them, which seems unlikely. The first time that happens on the news, it's a gigantic story that's everywhere, and the news media will be right there pointing a camera directly at the ICE agent as he takes two parents away and leaves a child alone at home. The entire thing stops at that point. Even if we got that far, it stops the minute that happens. The Americans will not accept that. So there's now a child who's just left all alone, picked up by the state, while the parents scream bloody murder about how you're kidnapping their child and forcing them into a concentration camp. Doesn't look good on camera. Then, if we actually do this, it won't, but if we do, those parents would then be sent to another country, even if they haven't been there in 10, 15, 20 years, something along those lines. And as Jacinto said, what does that country do if it tells us, no, we don't want that person back? We'll just, the American will just load up a train or a plane or something like that and throw them off and then drive away. the train or plane or bus would throw them out with nothing and then leave. And then they will be homeless people in a different country. It's their problem, according to Donald Trump. So that costs so much money. Gobs and gobs and gobs, billions and billions and maybe even trillions of dollars to accomplish this. It really will. You have to pay the law enforcement agents who are going to do the tracking and the finding and then the rounding up. You're going to have to pay to have a space. Concentration camps aren't free. You got to pay for those things. You have to afford that. You have to pay for the people to eat. And I know it's not going to be very well. It's not going to be much. It's going to be as cheap as possible, but it's going to be prison rations and starving people. Then you have to keep the press out. So you're going to need armed guards all the way around it. And in America, guess what? We got press. We got cameras. We got long distance cameras that can see you from a mile away. There are going to be 100 drones flying around above this thing, looking at the conditions within, reporting it, showing the American public what is happening inside this American concentration camp. And then you're going to have the stories of the people, and then you're going to follow them to their destination. We're going to figure out where these two people, these two straw men that I have created, this illegal couple, will be sent, let's say, to Venezuela. So is that one of the to Honduras? Let's do that. That's a big one in things today. The American press will just go to Honduras and record them getting off the bus. Ask them what's happening and ask them what's going on. And then those people will cry and sadly say that the American government stole their child, kidnapped them, and forced them onto this bus, and they're homeless now. They were, up until now, functioning parts of the American society. They had jobs, they paid rent, they paid mortgage, not mortgage, but they paid rent, they paid gas taxes, they bought gasoline, they paid for a Netflix subscription, they sent their kid to a school, their kid is an American, that American kid has a social security number, they did all the things that you do, except before they did all those things, they came here illegally. I'm hoping they'll be upset about that than the piece of shit that will cheer for it because it's happening to brown people. Well, those people will exist, yes. Those people will say, well, they shouldn't have come here. To begin with, they don't belong here. That's because to the right wing, to the conservative, America is a white Christian country. And if you are not a white Christian, you do not belong here. That is the statement. That is the base of conservatism. That is the starting point for most Republicans. America is a white country. There. That's the start from there. And build everything off of that platform. America is a white country. They don't belong here because I got here first. They didn't even get here first. They just got here and won a revolution. Anyway, we can go into history later. We're talking about J.D. Vance and his stupid plan for stupid people. So, do I think any of that will happen? Absolutely not. No. It would be way too expensive. They wouldn't want the bad press. They wouldn't want the kids to be separated. They have a constitutional problem of the 14th Amendment that guarantees people the citizenship if they're born here. So you have a lot of problems with this plan, which is why the plan can't happen, which is why the plan will never happen. There will never be a large deportation of illegal people from this country. It won't happen. It can't happen. Logistically, it's impossible. Well, logistically, it's not impossible. Logistically, it is incredibly complicated, incredibly expensive, and no one will want to do it. So why does J.D. Vance talk about it? Why does Trump push it? Because they need the stupid people to think that it's a good idea and vote for them. J.D. Vance knows it's impossible. Donald Trump might know it's impossible. He is kind of an idiot. But J.D. Vance, on the other hand, and all of the intelligent Republicans around him know it's impossible, but they say it anyway to convince stupid people to vote for them. No, history doesn't start until my recollection started. I was here first. History starts whenever you damn well feel like it. I dig that. But that is the problem with Republicans. It's why I don't like them. They're selling you on an idea that they know is nonsense and impossible. They don't care. They will tell you that it needs to be done and millions need to die so that they can get their stupid plan off the ground. And if you point out factually or logistically that it doesn't work, they don't care. Promise it to the stupid people, get the stupid people to support you, and then you have the power and you can do whatever you want. Power is what it's about, not good policy. No. Republican politics aren't about policy. It's about power and who gets to wield it. Let's talk about Jan 6th. All right. So this came out from the, let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about before we get up there. I already did that part. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I've got my slightly pre-scripted thoughts. Sometimes I see a thing, and then I type it up, and I think about it, and I talk about it later. So let's look at January 6th. Look at that. There it is. This is the one that I think is slowing my computer down because it's a very memory-hungry little website. Anywho, the case of January 6th by the Associated Press. This is actually quite good. I like this. The Associated Press has spent more than 3 years tracking the nearly 1,500 Capitol riot cases brought by the Justice Department. AP reporters have reviewed hours of video and thousands of pages of court documents. They have sat through dozens of court hearings and trials for the rioters who descended on the Capitol and temporarily halted the certification of President Joe Biden's victory. These videos represent a mere fraction of the evidence that prosecutors have presented to juries and judges deciding these cases. Inside Washington's federal courthouse, there's no denying the reality of Jan 6th. Day after day, judges and jurors silently absorb the chilling sights and sounds from television screens of rioters beating police, shattering windows, and hunting for lawmakers, and as democracy lay under siege. But as he seeks to reclaim the White House, Donald Trump continues to portray the defendants as patriots worthy of admiration, an assertion that has been undercut by the adjudicated truth in hundreds of criminal cases, where judges and juries have reached the opposite conclusion about what history will remember as one of America's darkest days. The cases have systematically put on record through testimony, documents, and videos the crimes committed, weapons wielded, and lives altered by physical and emotional damage. Trump is espousing a starkly different story, portraying the rioters as hostages and political prisoners whom he says he might pardon if he wins in November. So we've got our first little video here. Here they are attacking police officers, harming people, throwing things, breaking the gates, beating the hell out of this guy. That's a cop. They're beating up. They're beating up a cop while holding Trump flags. This cannot be normal. This cannot become normal. As we as a community, we as a society, we as a country cannot condone the normalization of the January 6th Capitol riot. Let's see. Let's watch this wonderful little video. Here we go. Those are Trump voters attacking the police. Those are Trump supporters harming the law enforcement officers. Let's see. If Trump wins, he could appoint an attorney general who could seek dismissal of the case or potentially order a pardon of himself for causing these things to happen. Let's look at this one. In Trump's telling, the mob on Jan 6 assembled peacefully to preserve democracy, not upend it, and the rioters were agitated, but not armed. They were not insurrectionists, but rather 1776-style patriots who now they are being persecuted by the Department of Justice, juries, and judges for their political beliefs. So let's see 19 seconds right here. Let's watch this one. The appeal to heaven flag. Look at that. Remember that a couple of weeks ago when this flag was flying from the was flown by the wife of a Supreme Court justice? Here it is. This is why we're upset with you, Supreme Court Justice guy who pushes right-wing agenda and wants to make this legal and flies this flag. Maybe I don't trust you anymore. Maybe flying this flag would suggest that you're on board with what these people are doing. Let's see. Here we go. We got another one. 30 seconds on this one. Let's the J6 Warriors. They were warriors. Okay, so this is Trump. He was going to put up an awards gala. Did you guys hear about this? I don't know if anybody noticed it. But Donald Trump invited guests for a January 6th awards gala and fundraiser at his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey. He was going to bring the people who were here. He's going to bring these people and give them awards and talk about how great they are. For those charged with crimes connected to the riot, his campaign later said that he wouldn't attend the fundraiser, which was then postponed. Organizers did not respond to requests for comment because it got such bad press. He wanted to give awards and money and praise to the people who did this. And then it got bad press. The people in the news said, hey, those people committed crimes. And like, you're talking about how you should support them and how we should make them happy. And then he backed out of it because it was bad press. The man understands press. I know that. It's part of an effort to undermine faith in the nation's justice system that has escalated since Trump's conviction of 34 felony charges in his New York hush money trial. Even more than that, it's fuel for a campaign of vengeance Trump says will come if he wins. Those Jan 6 warriors, they were warriors, but they were really more than anything else. They're victims of what happened. He said, falsely claiming the rioters were set up by the police. He appeared to threaten revenge. That blows two ways. That blows two ways. Believe me. If they do it to us, we can do it to them.
Hey, we got an officer down there! Go!
You have an officer down. There's a police officer on the ground being stomped on. It's very hard to see, but he's down there.
Fuck you all! Fuck you all! I fought for the public! I fucking fought for it!
So you see a couple of definite Trump voters right here, stomping on police officers, attacking them, harming them. J.D. Vance has echoed Trump's claims that January 6 defendants are being treated unfairly, referring to them in a 2022 social media post as political prisoners and describing their captivity as an assault on our democracy. He agrees with these people. He wants these people that are stomping on cops to be respected and forgiven the crimes that they have committed. This disinformation campaign has taken root in a vast swath of the country. About a year after the attack, only about 4 in 10 Republicans recalled it as very violent or extremely violent. 3 years after the riot, a Washington Post University of Maryland poll found about 7 in 10 Republicans said too much is being made of it. This is too big a deal. 7 in 10 Republicans say this is no big deal. This is not important. This is not anything that you need to be paying attention to. Not important, says a Republican. They don't care about that. That's not important. And now some of the same lawmakers who blame Trump for the riot are supporting his bid to return to the White House. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell endorsed Trump's campaign this year after condemning the former president as morally responsible for what McConnell called a failed insurrection. Those are the bad guys. It's blatant. It's obvious. What we see in those videos is Republicans unable to control their feelings, their fifis, as they like to call it. They believe that Trump will be good for them based on the feelings he gave them during the campaign. The facts say that Donald Trump did not win the popular vote. The facts say that he did not win the Electoral College. The facts say that there was no outcome determinative fraud. The facts say that the vice president cannot overturn the election results on January the 6th. But these people in the video feel like he should have won, feel like he was cheated. They feel like the vice president should overturn the election. This video shows a conservative temper tantrum. All politics are based on feelings. And to prove that idea even more, look at what happened afterward. McConnell calls it an insurrection, but now he supports Donald Trump. Not big news, not a a thing that you need to be worried about. As it cools off, he starts to defend it because his feelings have changed. He felt attacked by it at the time because he is a person in that building. Now that it's cooled off, now that it's calmed down, now that Trump is the nominee, he feels like he needs to defend it. The right wing often called it a peaceful protest that didn't hurt anyone. Donald Trump himself said no one died on January 6th. No one died. He's lying. He's wrong. Because he feels like it needs to be defended. They try to downplay and assuage the feelings you have about this video. They need you to not pay attention to it. They need you to not look at it. They need you to feel like they are the ones who were harmed, which is why they play the victim. Victim, victim, victim. The Jan 6 rioters are victims of the system. They didn't harm anybody. They were there peacefully. We all know that that's lies. They were tricked by perjury traps within the government. The DOJ came after them for the political views. Victim, victim, victim. This is what they always do. This is all they will ever do. Republicans cannot be trusted with power, and that's all they care about. That is the only thing that matters to them. Power, power, power. And if they can get that power by lying to you about what happened back then, they will. If Mitch McConnell can get more power by lying to you about what the DOJ does, he will. He doesn't care. He doesn't mind. It doesn't harm him. It doesn't harm his sensibilities to lie about what happened. And then that just makes me crazy. That we have to have, I would like a society that functions rather than a imaginary belief structure that doesn't. And I think that's what Republicans are giving you, an imaginary belief structure that doesn't work. Why would you support them? Why would you follow them? Why would you give them your vote? Because it makes you feel better. That imaginary that imaginary structure that they are telling you exists, where you're going to have everybody living in the suburbs in your white picket fence with your straight hetero cis marriages, and your kids will talk to you and everything will be great, doesn't exist anymore. It can't function the way they say it does. And instead of moving forward, they want to drag you backward. They want to sell you promises on things that aren't real, just like with the immigration thing I was talking about a minute ago. Sell you a promise of a thing that can't happen, so that you'll vote for them and they get the power. That's what it's always about. Power. They want the power, and if they have to sell you, if they lie to you to tell you about imaginary beliefs to get that power, that's what they'll do. Let's see if anything else is good on here. Let's watch another video. Here you go.
Trying to take our house back. They're a fucking church. They do shit when they bring the historic church down.
Here he is attacking police officers with a crutch. Throwing the riot shields at them. Hit them with the flags. This is what those people were convicted for. They weren't convicted for nothing. They weren't convicted for their political beliefs. They were convicted for attacking the Capitol, for attacking your government, for attacking those police officers. That's what they were convicted for. And when a Republican tells you they're being persecuted for their beliefs, they're liars. Can't be trusted. So, where does this end? Will we get more? Maybe, maybe not. I have suggested that when Donald Trump loses, and he's going to lose because Kamala is doing very well, when he loses, we will get more violence. And I think we will get something small. I don't think it's going to be as big as Jan 6 because Donald Trump is a rambling lunatic. The more we talk about how stupid he is, the more we point out how absolutely insane, rambling, nonsensical he is. When I read his words and it sounds like I'm having a stroke, that convinces people not to believe in him. And if they don't believe in him, they won't believe the things that he's promising. And if they don't believe the things that he's promising, they won't show up for another Jan 6. It is not doomer yet at the moment. Because am I being optimistic? Maybe. Being a little bit optimistic here. 6 months ago, I was very doomer about this, and I was absolutely convinced that there was going to be a lot more violence. I don't think so anymore. I really don't think so anymore. Donald Trump is proving to be an idiot. J.D. Vance is proving to be unpopular. When they lose, it will be a thing that his followers believe. They believe that he didn't get as many votes, and he lost. It will be harder to sell them on the idea that it was stolen. Some of them will still claim it. Some of them will. But the majority won't, I think. I hope that if there's enough reality on the news, if there's enough reality on the internet, if there's enough reality given to them, it will be harder for them to deny it. So that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm here. Do I have 1 million billion viewers? No. But I'm trying to put a little bit more reality out in the world. And if you want to help me do that, you can follow me. You can press the sub button. You can press the follow button. You can go to the Discord and tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. That is it for me today. I know it's a little bit short. I'm about half hour shorter than normal, but that's all the stuff I have today. And that is it for me today. I appreciate everybody who's here. You can go to the YouTube link right there, watch old videos and stuff like that. Give me a thumbs up. You can smash the subscribe button. You can fondle the bell. You can break the thumbs up, and you can stab people in the comment section. You can light each other on fire. It's a great time. That is it for me today. I appreciate everybody who's here. Thank you very much. I will be back on Tuesday. So, yeah, programming note. No Monday night stream. Tuesday will be the first debate. I'll be able to show that one on screen, unlike the last one where I wasn't actually supposed to show it, I think. There's a comment section on Jan 6. Well, it's YouTube comments, KVP. YouTube comment sections are Jan 6 all the time. Jan 6 rules apply to YouTube comment sections. That's what happens. The Discord is a much nicer place with very nice people, but YouTube comment sections, no. That's anarchy. That's Mad Max. That's unstoppable anarchy there in the YouTube comment section. It's a place for the strong, and only the strong survive. If you're not strong, don't go there. Go to the Discord instead. That's fine. But yeah, Tuesday night. So no stream on Monday. Tuesday night, I'll get started early on Tuesday. I'll probably start around 5:30, I want to say, on Tuesday night so that I can get through the preamble, get through the stuff, get the link up and running, have you guys tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling, check the important headlines, and then make some predictions, and then we can watch the whole thing. We can watch it together. Please come by on Tuesday night for the debate. It's the big show, So it's the big night for political commentators and stuff like that. It's a big night for me because I started the channel a couple of years ago, and I've just been watching headlines and stuff like that. Finally, a big election is coming up, and I get to watch it live, and I want you guys to be there. So come on by Tuesday night, right about 5:30 West Coast time, and I'll get started then, but it'll start about half hour after that. So 6 o'clock PST, 7, 8, 9, 9 o'clock on the Eastern. If there's any weirdo East Coast people in here, looking at you. Living on the wrong side of the planet. Poor guy. If you can't do that, if you can't live on the correct side of the planet, it will be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's it for me today. I appreciate everybody who's here. Thank you very much. And I will be back on Tuesday.